All right, let's talk about a problem I'm sure a lot of you have faced. You've got your awesome data processing framework all fired up, ready to crunch some numbers. But your data is everywhere, right? It's in relational databases, it's in massive NoSQL stores. So how in the world do you connect the two? Let's jump in and figure out how you can get your code talking to pretty much any data source you can throw at it. Yeah, this is a super common question. If you're coming from the SQL world, you're comfortable with tables, you know your schemas, but the second you start up a big distributed framework, you hit this wall. It's like, okay, how do I even get my data in here? It can feel like every single system needs its own special secret handshake. So, you know what? Let's start with what we know. Let's start on familiar ground. For that whole universe of relational databases, we're talking your MySQL, your Postgres, all the classics. The answer is a piece of tech you've probably already run into, jdbc. Think of jdbc as a kind of universal translator for databases. It's a standard interface, an API, that lets any Java application talk to almost any relational database out there. And since a lot of these heavy-hitting data frameworks, like Apache Spark, for example, are built on Java, jdbc becomes our golden key. For the rest of this, we'll use Spark in our examples, but honestly, the core concepts apply pretty much everywhere. Okay, so what does that actually look like in code? Well, inside a framework like Spark, you're going to use a specific tool called the jdbc RD class. This thing is pretty magical. You just give it your database connection info, and it takes an entire table and basically turns it into a distributed dataset that can be processed super fast across a whole cluster of machines. But let's be real, the world isn't just made of neat, tidy tables anymore. What about the wild west of NoSQL? We're talking about those massive key/value stores, document stores, and all the other systems that just don't fit the old relational model. Exactly. That's the million-dollar question, right? The structured stuff is one thing, but so many modern data pipelines are built on these incredibly huge, scalable NoSQL systems, and they definitely don't speak JDBC. So how do we get in? Do we need a completely different plan for every single one? Well, here's the good news. The approach is actually way more consistent than you might think. Unlike the SQL world, which has a standard language, NoSQL databases are all a bit different, so they need their own special connectors. But for Cassandra, it's often as simple as telling the connector where your cluster is by setting this one little property, spark.cassandra.connection.host. And look, we see the same kind of idea with hbase. The key piece of info here is table input format.input table. This just tells the framework exactly which table inside of hbase you want to pull data from. Simple as that. And the pattern keeps going. For Elasticsearch, you just point to your cluster by setting the ES_nodes property. You see the trend here, right? The property names are different, but the core idea is the same. You provide one or two key pieces of configuration, and the specialized connector handles all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so we've got relational databases covered, and we've got a plan for NoSQL. But what if you're using something else entirely? Or what if you want to understand this single, powerful engine that actually drives a lot of these connections? Well, that brings us to Hadoop's data formats. These are the real universal adapters of the big data world. Because our framework can understand Hadoop's input and output formats, it can instantly connect to this massive ecosystem of storage systems. Things like S3, HDFS, you name it. In fact, many of those dedicated connectors we just looked at for HBase and others, they're actually built right on top of these very interfaces. Now, when you dig in, you might notice two different ways to do this, an older Hadoop file function and a new API Hadoop file version. Don't let that throw you. It's really just about making sure everything is backward compatible. It means you have a solid way to load data, whether you're connecting to a brand new system or some legacy one that's been chugging along for a decade. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, from specific connectors all the way down to a universal interface. So let's just pull it all together in a quick summary so you know exactly which path to take for your data. Let's just break it down nice and simple. For all your standard relational databases, your MySQL, your Postgres, JDBC, using that JDP RDD class is your ticket. It's the standard. For those big, high-performance NoSQL systems, like Cassandra or Elasticsearch, you'll use their dedicated connectors by just setting a few configuration properties. And for pretty much everything else, or when you just need the most flexibility possible, you can always rely on those powerful, universal Hadoop format interfaces. So there you have it. With these three main pathways, you're pretty much ready to connect your applications to a whole universe of data.
It really opens up the possibilities, doesn't it? So the only real question left is, which data source are you going to unlock first?
And that is our deep dive into connecting to all your different data sources. Hey, if this helped you connect the dots, do me a favor and hit that like button, share it with someone who might need it, and of course, subscribe for more explainers where we make complex topics simple.